practice involves representing employees and unions across Atlantic Canada in the public and private sector. But beyond the representational work, I have an ongoing interest in legislative matters affecting workers' issues and rights. From a workplace perspective, the provinces in particular have abandoned most athletes, particularly hockey players, but in some cases, any athletes working for a team, soccer, lacrosse, it doesn't matter. This committee should be very concerned about the workplace rights of players. From a safety perspective, having basic workplace rights and a means to having those rights enforced helps to balance a very unbalanced power structure. Many of my comments focus on the Canadian Hockey League and its affiliate leagues and teams. The players who work for Canadian Hockey League teams are young and they're chasing a dream. It puts them in an extraordinarily vulnerable position. In general, young workers are more vulnerable than others. They're inexperienced, often working their first job. They're not aware of their rights, and many are minors working for adults. It's the same for major junior hockey. You have 16-year-olds working with up to 20-year-olds or older. That's who the employer employs. And watching some of the games, it's unimaginable as an employment lawyer to think of a situation where an adult can get into a fist fight with a minor and there's no consequences. But this is what's most troubling. The owners profit. The owners profit off of it. I understand it's a unique workplace. Being an employee player of a hockey team is different than most workplaces, but there's bosses, there are job requirements, the team earns revenue, and the owners desire to make profit off the labor of their players. It's really not much different than any other private sector enterprise. So what has happened in the provinces? Nothing short of a complete withdrawal of any protection for these employees. Most provinces have exempted athlete employees and hockey player employees from many of their minimum labor standards. What happened in Nova Scotia, where I'm from, just as an example, was astonishing. With no public consultation, with reportedly no Canadian Hockey League lobbyists registered in the province, they took away their rights in the middle of the summer by regulation. It was reported in the CBC News that essentially they called to ask the league and the premier changed the law. It was law reform in fast forward. So, and this has now spread to most other provinces, a lack of minimum labor standards for employees. So what should the committee do about it? The committee needs to recommend or have part of any inquiry some option to intervene on behalf of employee players. The committee should recommend that any inquiry or that the federal government instruct its legal counsel to come forward with whatever necessary proposals are required to put in place proper workplace protections for the health and safety of employee players. This could include taking action under the Canada Labour Code to have them declared a federal work or undertaking. This should all be part of any review of safety in sport, not just for hockey, but for all other athletes. This is really about, and we've heard from other witnesses, sort of the shocking imbalance of power that exists, while a significant imbalance of power is between these employees and their employer, the teams and the league. Thank you.